Greetings. Have you ever craved more meaning in your life? Or maybe ask yourself, what is the point of all of this? Or have you maybe experienced the feeling of not belonging to your own family, knowing them well, having an okay relationship with them, but just not feeling part of it, as if you are an outsider? Or maybe you've had this craving of connecting with something bigger than you, receiving the support of the spiritual realm, connecting with the spiritual side of this life. Or maybe you were wondering about what your actions will create for future generations. Or maybe you were wondering about this for yourself. What have you been carrying for all the previous generations? Maybe you've heard of the generational trauma transference, epigenetics, and how all generations are interconnected, and what happens in the past is impacting the present and the future. I certainly wondered about all these questions. With my legal background and working in the charity sector, I've always craved meaning. That's what I've been looking for since I was a child. It needed to make sense. It needed to have this weight to it, the meaning to it, understanding why and what for and what value. So I've started looking, and then I came across the ancestral work, and healing ancestral pain just suddenly made so much sense. And how healing what was happening in the past could liberate me in the present to be free to make my own choices, to walk my own path, to live my own life. So I've started on this journey, having many teachers, working with different frameworks, and now 10 years later, I am full of it. I am so much living the flow of life and meaning. And this is what I'm also sharing with people who work with me. And this is also kind of a calling that I experienced at some point, and that I followed step by step, one workshop after another workshop. So with this systemic work that I'm doing for myself, first of all, but also with others, I learned this incredible sense of meaning and belonging, as well as seeing how the past influences the present, and how what I do right now impacts the future. And all of this is very far from a philosophical concept or debate. It's not about believing in something that you haven't had a personal experience of. It is a very experiential work. So all of what I now believe in, what constitutes my worldview, comes from experience, comes from the body wisdom, comes from being in it, feeling it, knowing it in my bones. So this is an incredible way to find your own truth, to connect with your own core, to connect with your family and all the generational resources that are there. The ancestors not only hold their own pain, but they also hold lots of power, healing power and supportive power for us and for the future. And of course, this work is not possible without being in full connection with the spiritual, with the great mystery. So I've trained in my life in a variety of frameworks, but my preference right now is for the systemic work, for the family constellations and the systemic ritual. This is what I combine in my work in the modern ancestral practice. Doing regular workshops, circles, groups, doing one-to-one work, and also having trained in shamanic practice, adding this to the mix to support whatever needs to be seen and heard, to release what needs to be let go of. So this is a beautiful combination that allows me to support people to get to where they would like to get to, working with any type of issues. So any themes are welcome. But we'll look at them in the context of the family systems. This is why it's called systemic work. It works with our systems of origin and our current present systems around us. And we also work further down the ancestral line. So we work with bigger containers, with the whole ancestral field and the non-human ancestors and so on and so forth. So with lots of resources that we have access to in our life, if we would like to. And this is a really incredible blessing that I've received in my life that really created the freedom for me to create, to be myself, to love every day and what I do and who I am and how I am. And I am really, really excited to be sharing this with others with incredible value. Some of the stories that I've heard people share after doing this work, after showing up regularly for this work, they are just really, really heart-opening. Incredible shifts, incredible changes in people's lives with doing this work regularly, whether in person, whether just at home, doing rituals at home, or showing up, or just representing in a circle, or showing up to do their own constellation work. All of this is just such a blessing, and I feel incredibly privileged to do that. And I'm looking forward to share more with you this year in 2020.